All right. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. How's everybody doing today? Did everybody get some coffee and some food?
Thank you.
Yeah? Okay, good. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jeremy Miller, and I work with TJ at Conscious Recovery and co-founded Rehab Road Trips. And I'm very, very excited to be here today, and not just because of the events of the last few years, but really just in general, because this feels like home for me, so thank you. I will also name that it has been a while since I've been up here, and I'm a little nervous, so just bear with me, okay? Okay.
We got you.
Thank you.
And that gray looks good on you, doesn't it?
Thank you so much. I swear I'm not fishing for compliments, though they are appreciated. So, I am very excited about this day in particular, the very first Emergence Conference. And this conference is presented by Conscious Recovery and empowered by our friends at New Start Recovery Solutions and Discovery Behavioral Health. So give it up for them, please. We also have a slew of other amazing sponsors in the exhibit hall, so please make sure that you say hi to them, because without our sponsors, we wouldn't be partying together today. So let's make sure we give them some attention over there. Does that sound good to everybody?
Yes.
Okay, right on. So interestingly enough, I had a whole thing written out that I would come up and share with you today, but I've been bringing awareness to something in my own life over the past few days, and I thought I would share it with you this morning. Does that sound all right to everybody? Yeah? That sound okay? Okay, so what I'd like to do is invite us to find a really comfortable position in our chair. I'm talking feet flat on the floor, upright but not uptight, as my friend Joe Clements used to say. And we're just gonna get nice and comfortable, and if it's comfortable for you, go ahead and close your eyes. And let's take a deep breath together. And one more deep breath. And what I'd invite you all to do in your mind is pull up an image of an hourglass, if you will. And when you get it, make it really big so that you can really see all the little details. Look at the bottom of the hourglass and notice the sand that's piling up. Now look at the top and notice the sand that's falling through. Now really zoom in on this hourglass and look at the middle part, that tiny little section in the center that gets really, really small. And if you can, notice the sand, each little grain of sand falling through it. And just watch it for a moment. Now zoom out a little bit and bring awareness back to the hourglass as a whole, watching the sand fall from the top through that little tiny section in the middle and then piling up on the bottom. And I'm going to invite everybody back into the room, but if you will, try and hold that image of the hourglass. And when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. Okay, did everybody see an hourglass? Okay, good. So I've been thinking about this hourglass as a metaphor for time recently. The bottom of the hourglass where the sand piles up being the past. It's already happened. It's done. And the top being the future, the sand, the moments that haven't yet happened. And that little tiny section in the middle, really, really small, being the present, right now. And I've been thinking about this in terms of what we've all been through in the last 2 years. There's been a lot of division, a lot of polarization, a lot of conflict, and to be honest, it was a little overwhelming for me. And so, working with TJ, I'm often offered new perspectives on things. And I started to look instead for the commonalities, the things that we all share. One of those that all of us share as human beings is that none of us really know how much time we have left in the top of our hourglass. We don't know how much sand there is. And one of the things that we all have in common, the people in this room right now, is that we spend that precious middle section, that infinite now, those little tiny moments that string together, we spend that time helping people. And I think that's really amazing. And so in times that I have felt overwhelmed with the state of things externally, I remind myself of that. And I mean, look around the room. Look at all these people in here and picture each one helping 20 people. And I think 20 is kind of a modest number. I'd venture that the average is more like a couple hundred. So when we look around at our peers and think to ourselves, wow, each one of these people has helped 200 people, that's a big ripple. You guys feel that? And then we look to the couple of empty chairs here and picture that those were full of people that also helped 200 people. Right? Look at an empty chair and picture the person you think has helped the most people. I picture my late mentor, the great Steve Brugge. Anybody else picture Brugge? That's right. Mm-hmm. He's here. So the energy that we want to create today, as TJ affirmed with us in our meeting this morning, is connection, community. And for me, when I look out at all these beautiful faces, that's what I feel. I feel ripples that are actually making change, and I think that's awesome. So look to someone near you and give them a big high five. Big high fives. Mm-hmm. There we go. That's right. Bring it in. That's right.
Right, yes.
Yeah. That feels pretty good, huh?
Get it, Candace.
That's right. Vicki, did you get a high five back there? Okay, good. Okay. Just making sure. So like I mentioned up top, we have two amazing empowered sponsors. We have New Start Recovery Solutions and Discovery Behavioral Health, both of which I've worked with personally for a very long time and absolutely love what they do. We could not be happier to partner with such amazing programs. And of course, I have to thank TJ Woodward and Conscious Recovery. That's right. I get to introduce TJ later, so I'm going to save the good stuff for then. But we want to thank Conscious Recovery for presenting the conference. This is amazing. A couple of housekeeping items before we get into the good stuff. And the first of which being, go ahead and grab that little computer that's in your pocket. Looks a little bit like this. And make sure it's on Do Not Disturb or Vibrate mode, okay? If you're really brave, you could even turn it off, okay? We're trying to really be here in that beautiful little middle section of the hourglass, and that's hard with the dings and pings, you know what I mean? The second thing is, I know we all know the value of our work and how sometimes our work pulls us away. So if it does, if you have to go work, go work. No shame, no guilt. We're here to party. It's all good. How am I doing so far? Pretty good? Yeah? Okay. So the first person I'd like to welcome up really doesn't need much of an introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyways because I like the guy. He is someone that I've really gotten to know very recently. I've come to admire him, his career, and most importantly, the energy he holds for these amazingly massive teams. He is the SUD and ED Divisional President of Discovery Behavioral Health, Mr. Joe Tinervin.
Morning.
Morning.
Dr. J, the outfit, we good?
I think you're always fine.
Sweet, that's just the ego boost I needed, thank you. Thank you for that warm introduction, Jeremy. That was absolutely beautiful. I definitely feel no pressure now, thank you. I am Joe Tinervin, Division President for the SUD and ED divisions at Discovery Behavioral Health, which sounds pretty big, and it is. It's a wonderful thing. I want to give you a little history about Discovery Behavioral Health, just so you have some context and kind of know how we came to be to the point where we are today. We first had Center for Discovery, which was founded by Mark Cobbins back in 1997. You've probably heard that name before. Center for Discovery, long-standing rich tradition of providing eating disorder treatment throughout the entire country at the outpatient and inpatient level of care. And then it was in 2005 that Cliffside Malibu was founded. And then fast forward to 2018, and Cliffside Malibu and CFD, Center for Discovery, merged together to form this new company that we now consider Discovery Behavioral Health. And so John Pelican was actually the CEO of Cliffside Malibu at the time that merger took place, and was obviously integrally involved with that merger, and became the CEO of Discovery Behavioral Health. And that's kind of how it all came to be, and how we all came together. I joined Discovery Behavioral Health in 2019 with the sole purpose of developing the SUD division. So at the time, the SUD division was only 2 programs strong, that being Pinelands Recovery Center in Medford, New Jersey, and Cliffside Malibu, of course, which I've already mentioned. Fast forward to today, we've grown that division to a division of 8. And so let's see if I can remember them all. We've got Pinelands, of course, back east in New Jersey. New Life Recovery Center, which is an outpatient program working with Medicaid population in Pasadena, Maryland. Moving over to California, we of course have Cliffside Malibu, high-end treatment center providing residential detox, partial IOP, OP in Malibu. Authentic Recovery Center, which is more of a 12-step social model program providing detox residential in LA. We also have Casa Palmera, which is a treatment center providing primary mood and primary SUD co-occurring dual diagnosis treatment in Del Mar. Moving up north, we have Prosperity Wellness Center in Tacoma, Washington, where it's a Medicaid program up in that area. And then moving towards the middle of the country in Texas, we have New Hope Ranch, which is a detox residential program working specifically with veterans population in just outside of Austin. And last but not least, the newest addition to the family is Park, which was a new acquisition for us that we acquired in August. 144 beds, servicing adults and adolescents for detox all the way through the entire continuum of care. And so a little bit going on there. It's really been a very fun process. Even though Discovery Behavioral Health is in a growth mode and we are a growth company, we're not looking to be the biggest out there. We know what it's like to work at really large corporations, and there's some good things that come along with that, but sometimes there is such thing as getting too big, where it takes your eye off of the mission, takes you away from the primary goal of reaching people in need, and that's what Discovery Behavioral Health is for us. The tagline that we keep using is that it's like getting the band back together. And what I mean by that is that there are a lot of us who work at Discovery who all used to work together in previous lives. So many of us work together at CRC Health Group. A lot of us work together at Acadia Healthcare. I personally was at Acadia for about 12 years. And a lot of other people in our organization. So John Pelican, for example, he was my boss at Acadia. He's the one who hired me to run Bayside, if any of you guys remember those days. James Bailey is our chief operating officer. He also was my boss for a minute at Acadia Healthcare. And so we all have this intertwined history. And the way it feels to me is that when we were all together, we did some really exceptional work together, and we had a ton of fun, and we helped a lot of people along the way. Then we all kind of went off and did our own things and kind of explored different avenues and different pieces of the world, and then Discovery represented a chance for us to all come back together, bring the band back together, if you will, and do things the way we wanted to do them. Take what we liked and leave the rest. Which is a slogan you might be familiar with, but it's true. There are different ways to work in this industry, and there are ways to do it where you can eradicate the red tape and the minutia to be a highly efficient organization, a high-performance organization, where we don't get hung up on chain of command. We don't get hung up on getting tied down by protocols. When you need something, you go to the person that you need it, and you get it done. And we're all in this for the same reasons, and that's to help people and reach people in need. We wanted to surround ourselves with the best of the best It's not about financial viability. It's not about the bottom line. It's truly about how can we reach people in need? How can we improve access? How can we get people into treatment and help people get on with their lives and have a happy and deserving life that everybody deserves? And so that's what we have going on at Discovery. I feel like I have the best job in the world because I can literally go out there and help anybody who's in trouble. And it's always amazing to me how when people, either they themselves or a loved one is in trouble and they need help, no matter what their socioeconomic status is, no matter how wealthy they are, no matter how smart they are or how many resources they have, when they or a loved one's in treatment, they're completely lost and have no idea where to go. A lot of it comes down to knowing who you can trust. And we would like to be that navigational light. We consider ourselves that compass that's always going to take you true north and help you find the right place for you or for your loved one, whether it's with us or somebody else. We're big fans of reciprocal relationships. Obviously, we feel like we have a lot to offer. We have everything from the high-end programs with the luxurious private pay treatment all the way down through to a Medicaid treatment program, and you cannot tell that our Medicaid programs are servicing Medicaid populations. We're changing the narrative of what that can look like. We have in-network, we have out-in-network, we have private pay, dual diagnosis, MAT, social model, you name it. We have a little bit of everything to be able to service everybody in need. And again, if it's not the right fit to land in one of our places, then we are more than happy to help people find placement outside of our company. It's all about making sure that people land safely and get the help that they need. And so for that reason and more, I feel really lucky to be in the position that I'm in. Highly encourage you all to come out and visit our programs. Now that things are getting a little bit easier that way with regards to the pandemic, I can tell we're all getting out in the world again. I'm seeing a lot of faces here today that I've actually seen in the last couple of weeks, and it's amazing. Kind of what you were saying, Jeremy, it's a little rusty. I forgot what it's like to be out there, and I kind of lost my social skills a little bit, but it feels so good to be back out and connecting with all of you. It's just, there's really no true replacement for Zoom, We do what we can to engage each other and stay connected through video conferencing, but when you get in front of somebody face to face and reconnect with somebody you haven't seen in a long time, it just feels really awesome. And it reminds me that we are surrounding ourselves with really talented people who are all like-minded, and we're all in this mission together to not only help people in need, but also propel our industry forward. So, a little bit about Discovery Behavioral Health. I also have the distinct honor of introducing our next speaker. And so I wrote some of this down because Jen's so important to me, I didn't want to screw it up. So Jen Carvalho is the CEO of Casa Palmera, one of our facilities in Del Mar, licensed as a chemical dependency recovery hospital, providing treatment for co-occurring disorders for both SUD, mental health primary, and offers the full continuum of care with detox, residential, partial IOP, and OP. Jen joined Discovery Behavioral Health in 2000 and brings more than 20 years of behavioral health experience to the table. Prior to CASA, Jen worked in Northern California as a market CEO operating 2 successful programs in Sebastopol, California, and Santa Cruz. Jen is the graduate of Chico State and Seth Godin's Alt MBA program and is one of the most hands-on, innovative leaders I've ever had the pleasure of working with. Access to care, stigma reduction, and workforce development are particular focus areas for Jen. She is active in advocacy efforts and legislative reform by working with various trade associations and strategic partnerships, including being the former president of CCAP, to foster ethical opportunities for behavioral health care industry growth. As CEO of CASA, Jen's passion expands to leadership development, and she is proud to empower her teams to lead the compassion and integrity, which is readily apparent for any of you who have visited Casa Palmera. You would pick up on that right away. I first met Jen when she was running a nonprofit in Chico, and you know that feeling you get when you meet somebody for the first time and you just know right away, like, oh my God, this person's the goods? I had that feeling about Jen. I remember walking the property with her and hanging out with her, and we connected philosophically. We both kind of had this, what we call the eye of the tiger, in really wanting to propel our industry forward. And I knew immediately that I wanted to work with Jen long term. And I immediately, at my first opportunity, brought her to Northern California. to help me run Azure Acres and the camp. It was a beautiful marriage and a beautiful, beautiful partnership that we are continuing on with today. I consider myself extremely lucky to work with Jen Carvalho, and it is my distinct honor to introduce you to her today.